Hello and welcome back to part 2 of our HMO special. You remember last week we left you
week?
Okay.
We've had a bit of time off.
Probably about a month ago
Slight distraction.
Yeah. We left you on the fantastic news that we won our bid for the property in Swinton.
Woo!
That was October last year, so we've been busy renovating since then, and hopefully the project is going to be completed in the next 2 months or so. What we thought we'd do in this episode, and this is something that I don't think any experts actually really do, not that we're necessarily experts, but we'll try and claim to be.
We're trying, yeah. Try our best.
Yeah. Well, Ronnie is, I'm not sure about me, is to go through the floor plans and so that you can kind of get the vision that we go through when we are deciding basically what...
He says we, the collective.
I have a little go. I often have a little look at the floor plans and think, yeah, that looks like it might work. And then...
Really?
Okay, yeah, I'll have a go.
Not
what we're going to do. Okay, whether it's big enough or not.
Okay,
I know how big it is, right? Which sounds like Mickey Mouse stuff, but actually even that's kind of some level. But then I go to Ronnie and she'll kind of work out what we can then do with it if it is potentially big enough or if it's big enough in the first place. So she's going to run through our floor plan for this Swinton HMO and work out basically why we changed what would probably have been the norm. So she'll go through it all, but actually it was quite interesting because we didn't do what I think probably most people would sort of do, given the existing layout at the time. So there is always a value that can be added when it comes to floor plans, and really I think that's probably where we add the most value in any given project.
And that gorgeous style.
I thought you were going to say looks, but yeah. And the style at the end, which is obviously increasingly important to attract the tenants.
I think that's more important for the tenants.
Yeah, possibly. But actually, the floor plans, I think, ultimately is what's the future of the property. And that's where the value is. And longer term, I think that's important. Because we go to a lot of HMOs now where, let's say, the corridor is just too wide and it's just wasted space.
Crazy.
Small, pokey kitchens. Rooms that are just too small that won't rent out, not using the basement if it could be used, or potential loft that's not been expanded. So there's I think actually the floor plans is...
I heard someone once say you don't get money renting a corridor.
No, and we went into one the other week where it's just a huge corridor. It's like, well, no one's going to sleep in there. So it's and these are things that I might spot, or the common man might spot, but possibly not, and actually wouldn't necessarily know where to start. We've had architects done before who've actually done corridors that are a bit big, and really you should be trying to utilise all the space for the rooms because that's what people use.
That's where the tenants want to stay.
So there's a lot of common sense to it, but then there's also a lot of expertise, and that's where Ronnie comes in. So do you want to?
Yeah, so I'm going to run you through the floor plans with the hope that I can get images on the screen. Once I'll have a fiddle with the video once we've done it, recorded it. So I'll run you through each. Well, I don't know if people understand floor plans, so sorry if I'm being too basic, but I'll run you through what everything is. So you've got, I think I've got a full picture of the before plans. Here you go, ta-da! And then I'll run you through each floor. So on the ground floor, you've got a basement. Which is quite a nice size, and then first floor in the original plan, it's a front living area at the front, there's a living area at the back, and then at the very back, at the very rear, there's a kitchen area which you have to cut through the back living area to get to. So
one thing, just to kind of make it clear there, that we look for from the outset, is that there's actually basically a corridor going to these rooms, or certainly to the first room. Because quite a lot of sort of smaller houses, their front room is when you open the door, which would kind of be almost an instant no-no, because unless you can create that corridor space, then you look at me as if to say you're not sure about this, but what you'd want to basically, everyone's got to have their own bedroom, so you'd need access to that. And so if you're going in the front door into someone's bedroom, that's not clearly going to work.
Yes. So, yeah, if you're making a house share, every room needs you can't walk through people's rooms. So instantly, you know, this, if you're going to make this a kitchen at the back, you're going to need a corridor. And then at the very back was an outhouse, as hopefully you can see on screen now. And then you've got, you keep trying to interrupt me.
No, go on.
Then you've got the first floor. At the front, you've got a big master bedroom, a middle bedroom, and then you've got the bathroom and a bedroom at the back, and then you have the loft space. So what we did when planning the rooms, the new layout, we tried to get planning to turn the basement into a bedroom. Unfortunately, planning said, there's really no rhyme or reason. The planners at their peril, really. And then first floor, so the front room's quite easy. We just added an ensuite. That's an instant bedroom, big enough to fit all of it. Then I played about with we kept the kitchen at the back. So there are HMO guidelines of room sizes, because what old landlords used to do is pack them in tight and get as many renters in as they could to pocket the most cash. And one day someone said, no, this isn't very fair or safe or nice for the tenants, so they put guidelines in. So now there are minimum room sizes for every room, I think. Bedrooms, en suites must have minimum room sizes. Kitchens have minimum room sizes. Lounges have minimum room sizes. Kitchen, lounge combined have minimum room sizes, and it all depends on, every area has different guidelines, but they're all similar-ish, and it depends on how many people. So if you have 5 and below, they're one set of room sizes. Between 6 and 11 is another set of room sizes, and then 11 and above is another set of room sizes. So to make one of the downstairs rooms a kitchen, if we used either the existing kitchen or the middle room, we would have had to steal excess meters squared, excess space from another room to make the kitchen big enough. I think it had to be 20 square meters minimum. So then if you're doing that, you're making one of the bedrooms too small from what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
Big enough to meet guidelines, but I don't like to pack them in. I like to have a desk, have it nice enough that the tenant's going to want to stay for a period of time. I always think, would I want to live here? So I didn't want to make one of the bedrooms too small, because I want all my bedrooms en suite as well. So the other alternative was to extend on the back of the property, but then you've got the cost of an extension. Are you going to get that money back? I only needed literally a few square meters, and it probably wasn't the best idea. So what I did is I put the kitchen upstairs, kitchen, dining, lounge, I always do, communal living, and the front bedroom was big enough, and because we're having a bedroom in the loft, so it's kind of the middle of a house, the person in the loft doesn't need to go down 2 floors, so save yourself an extension. And it's a lovely shaped room. So the upstairs front master bedroom is now the kitchen, dining, lounge, and then the middle room at the back, middle room and the bathroom upstairs is now knocked through and made another bedroom en suite. And then the back bedroom upstairs has an ensuite in. And then we have turned the loft, we've added a dormer onto the back, and made that into an ensuite bedroom. That's the biggest bedroom in the house. The loft rooms generally are. And there you go. That's our 6-bed HMO. So as Gary said, you try and eliminate corridor space. And what people sometimes do if you're having problems doing an ensuite in a room, it's quite clever. Sometimes people have made an off-suite, which is basically a private bathroom for someone's bedroom, but it's not attached to their room if you're having problems with the layout. And
you want to say what size bedrooms you tend to?
Yeah, I try not go under 10 metres squared. I always put a desk in the bedrooms because so many people are working from home now, especially nowadays. Yeah, I mean, they rent less and they have more voids having smaller bedrooms. They rent for less money and they take longer to rent the smaller the bedroom.
I think that's the thing we found out the most, because when we sort of started, we went on this website called Spare Room, which is where you can kind of see rooms that are available. And the rooms did look fairly small, and we thought, okay, maybe that's the norm. But then in our experience, certainly in the last project we did in Rochdale, the last room to rent by some distance was the smallest and cheapest.
They're generally always.
So,
they are.
Yeah,
no one goes,
I'm
first one in, I'll get the smallest room for the cheapest. No one does that.
They're happy to spend the extra, say,
the biggest room always goes
£50 to £75, I think. £75 at the most, probably more likely £50 a month extra. To get basically luxury, as opposed to being, and we never want it where they're squashed in, but it is smaller. There's always going to be one room that's smaller. You're not going to be able to work it out, and so to then have 5 of those smaller rooms, or 6, or whatever the case might be, it's just
don't buy it.
It's just not gonna work. And so a lot of people are still doing this. I can still see it, and yeah, the rooms might shift, but you are always going to have a bit more of an issue. So I think Ronnie's very keen, I am as well, to kind of really try and make it a nice living experience. And if that means that we get one less room,
well, we had another HMO which we could have fit 7 rooms in, but they wouldn't have been a couple. I think a few of them would have had to share a bathroom.
I think yeah.
And we opted to make it a 5-bed all-en suite, and some of the rooms were massive, but we just thought, well, we're going to get better clientele, and it's just a safer option, basically. I
think you've got to think of, or certainly what we think of, is longer term here. So there's a lot of people that kind of try and make a quick profit, and you can with HMOs. There can be a great cash flow, but I think we like to think is, right, well, hopefully we're going to have this asset for years. In 5-10 years time, what's the best chance of it being looked after, still full or relatively full, whatever, and then basically go backwards from there, and then try and have a nice enough layout that we don't need to start changing it if regulations change or what have you, because ours will be sort of near the top of the pile.
And I have been into less high-end HMOs, and you don't want, I mean, they've got to have somewhere to live, but those type of tenants don't look after the property. I've seen damp issues. They don't look after the kitchen, doors off the hinges. If you look after the property, they give it more respect.
Yeah. Just on floor plans more generally, is anything else you kind of look for? Like stairs, they have, what do you think of stairs? Where it's in, where the position is, where they are? Is there an instant no? Is it, oh yeah, they're great? Or
so, because what you also got, because you're allowed, I think you're allowed 1 bedroom off a kitchen lounge diner. So you don't need a corridor. I think you're only allowed 1. Maybe you're allowed 2. Oh, what? No, I tell you what. The bed. So every room needs a fire escape. So say there's a bedroom off a kitchen, and the fire's in the kitchen, then I think I'm telling you right. That bedroom either needs a window that can open wide enough, or a door into the yard. Fire regulations are a big thing. So if there's stairs going off the kitchen area, which there could be, then I think there would need to be a fire door before the stairs, kind of corridoring it off. Well, I forgot the question.
No, just about stairs really. Where do you kind of...
Yeah, sometimes it's easier to... It's not cheap, but you can always flip stairs around so they... Yeah.
Do you kind of look at floor plans and think, actually, well, they're perfect, or actually they're just non-workable, or is there always kind of somewhere in between all of that?
Yes, either it works or there's a lot of movement.
Right.
But you've got to bear in mind, if you go round, because if you started knocking walls down, if you go round knocking on walls when you're viewing properties, if you kind of know what you're doing a bit, you can tell if a wall is hollow or if it's not hollow. And there's load-bearing walls, which...
I think that's saved us for another episode.
I may as well finish.
Well,
just bear in mind, if you're knocking walls down, you're often going to have to pay a few £1,000s in steels to hold the ceiling up. So if you are thinking, I'll knock this down and put this here, it's all money at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So.
And is there a reason why you don't do a separate lounge? You mentioned that they all go into...
I feel if I were moving in somewhere to make friends... then I may as well chinwag while I'm in the kitchen. I think it's easier for people to meet. That's what I feel. That's just my personal opinion. Not everyone will agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I think on the pictures, to have a bigger room looks more enticing and wow than a smaller kitchen and a smaller lounge. Also, a kitchen lounge combined, you need less meters squared for than a separate kitchen and a separate lounge.
Cumulatively, it's quite a lot less when you're working out the two together. Cool. Anything else about floor plans you want to tell our
if I think of anything, audience? I'll add it on at the end.
If you think it would be helpful to kind of have more floor plans episodes, then just write a comment below, because we can kind of go through other ones that we've done, some that we might just reject, and for those various different reasons. But hopefully that was useful. Please do get in touch with us in the usual way. Do you want to do your spiel?
Here's my spiel. That's the wrong piece of paper. No, it's on the back. No. The content of this podcast is for general information purposes and not a recommendation to act. Please contact us or an independent financial advisor if you would like to discuss further at gary.financialfreeman@gmail.com. And I'll also note that this is the first podcast that I've spoke more, and it's not as easy as it looks.
I thought you were going to say as I make it look, but you couldn't quite go as far as that. Anyway, there you go. Good. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.